Welcome back to the Financial Alchemist channel. This is an update video on my Bitcoin shorts. Let's go to the weekly. I used to be 90% sure of how my trade will play out, but as of now, that has dropped to about 60%. Let's talk about the negative before we go to the positives. If I'm 60% sure why this will play out, let's talk about the other 40, why I think this might not play out. So going back to the monthly, go to the log chart. This is all assuming the 4-year cycles are still in play. Bottom to peak 35 months. This bottom to this peak 35 months. Assuming this repeats from the bottom of November 2022 to the peak 35 months away will give us October 2025, which is the month we are in now. So if this is still in play, we are expecting a peak in October. Let's go back to the weekly. So this peak we have here on the 6th of October might be the peak for the cycle. That's the first reason. I'm anticipating the 20th week, but as at now, it's looking like I was 2 weeks ahead of this move. So this is one reason why my trade might not play out, that the peak is already in and we are heading lower. Secondly, this trend line. First touch, second touch. This should have been a third touch of the trend line for us to go higher. So first, we have a peak in October, which is the basis of this whole thing, that the peak should be in October. So this is the peak in October. This is a break of trend line. So these two kind of make my trade invalid. Thirdly, we go back to the log chart. Remember my previous video, I talked about my contingency plan. Using the log chart, this trend line hasn't broken from the bottom to where we are. So from here to here, to this, and now we are here, going to the daily. It looks like we've broken this trend line. So this is the third reason why my trade might not be valid. These three reasons. So recapping, first reason is we having a peak in October. This is a reason. So this might be our peak heading lower. Second reason, on the linear chart, we have this trend line which has been broken. It might make it head lower. So this is another confirmation for my trade not playing out. And thirdly, on the log chart, our trend line is broken on the daily time frame. These are the three reasons why my trade might not play out. So this is the other 40 why my trade might not play out. So let's go to the positives now. The 60% chance of my trade playing out. Starting all over again. Bottom to peak 35 months. Bottom to peak 35 months. Then bottom to peak 35 months. October. You go to the weekly. We now have bottom to peak 152 weeks. Bottom to this peak 152 weeks. 152 weeks from this November 21st will give us October 20th, which I still think might be in play. So firstly, to debunk the first reason why it might not play out, let's leave the log chart. This looks like a break, but trend lines are drawn, everybody and how they draw their trend line. This trend line can also be drawn like this. Let's take our trend line 2 from the low to this. It can also be drawn like this. You can come to the daily, and this trend line is still valid. So this is the outer trend line. You can see the touches, first one, second one. This is also a touch. This is a support zone or a structure. So it's still not a break. This third touch on the trend line was what caused this whole move up. So concerning this, the trend line is still not broken. If we had to use this trend line, so to debunk the other one, this is kind of a proper trend line. If we are to break this, then we might have some concerns, but as of now, this outer trend line, based on the wicks, the outer wicks and this outer wick, we still haven't broken this trend line, so there's still a probability for the upside. Once we have this third touch, we might get a new all-time high, which will also debunk my first reason saying the 6th of October is the peak. So we might have a later peak in October, which might debunk this once we break this all-time high of $126,230. So the first two can be broken if this trend line holds and we create a new all-time high. Then we start to drop. Once that occurs, so let me give this as an example. This is just an example. So once this holds, we break higher to wherever it wants to go, then we come lower for our bear market, however it wants to go. This will debunk the first one saying the 6th is the top. This might be the top, assuming this is in October somewhere. So let's say this is the last week of October, or this week, this coming week, 20th week. So once we get a new all-time high in October, we have debunked this first reason why it might not play out, this 6th of October, because this is also an October. No matter, even 31st is October. And this holding will also debunk the break of the steep trend line. This can go of the steep trend line I drew before, something looking like this. So once this hold, it will debunk this. Thirdly, our trend line for our contingency plan, this is the daily. We have never broken below this trend line, as we can see throughout, but as of now, we are trading below this trend line. So 1, 2, this is our third day below the trend line. This can be a wick if we go higher. So let's go to the weekly. I already explained why this is not a break. This is structure forming on the lower time frame, also a support zone around here, so this is not considered a break. Here as well, once we go to the daily, let's go to the daily. Once we are the daily, we can see as at here, this candle, we opened here, went higher, came lower here, looked like a break, close above. The second day, similar thing, we opened here, went higher, came lower, looked like a break. The third day, opened here, looked like we were continuing lower and ended up closing higher. So this daily might just be wicks on the higher time frame, just like how this wick were candles on the 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or some of the hours, 1 hour to 4 hour time frame. But this might just be a wick. So putting that in mind, these daily candles might just be a wick, and this weekly candle will close a day time. Today is the Saturday, so just a day, we can still close above this, and this 3 days move below the trend line might be a wick. So once we have a close above, we can still head higher, or we can close below and still head lower if I'm wrong. But those are the 3 reasons why I think I'm still favoring the 20th peak. Not only that, a 4th reason why I'm also favoring the 4th peak. This cycle, let's go to the 2017 cycle. It's similar to that of the 2017. So this is the 2017 cycle. Let's go to the daily time frame. So the 2017 cycle, daily time frame, we can watch something similar happening here. So let's pay attention right about here. So this peak, which happened on 17th December 2017, the week open was on the Monday 11th December. So let me go back as well again for you to understand. So we talk about the weekly opens, and once we go to the days are 7 days. So this peak happened on the 11th December. So when I say 11th December, this week of 11th, so from the 11th Monday to Sunday, that is the week I'm talking about when I say 11th. So 11th, I'm talking about 7 days range. So yes, so this 11th was the peak. We go back to the daily. So going back to the daily, we know our peak is the 11th of December. As I already said, the 11th is our week. So we can now clone this. So to the 11th, yes. So the 7 days, 11th to 17th, this is the week where we were expecting it to peak. So the 11th of December, the week of 11th. So a similar thing is playing out now. We can see this. We created an all-time high here. Then we had a correction. What was the percentage drawdown from the peak here to the bottom? Took us 24%. So we had to drop 24% down. Then we entered our peak week. Let's see what occurred now. Similarly, we've had our peak. Where have we dropped up to? As of now, the lowest point is 17%. So assuming we also drop 24% as well, 24%, that's about 96,000. So if this should drop to 96,000, it's still feasible or probable we still go higher from here, because this has occurred before. This drop is even better than that of 2017. This drop, so we can still drop here and still go higher, just like the 2017 peak. So going back to the 2017, after we having our peak, dropping about 24%, this is our Saturday. Then Sunday we created our bottom. Monday, the week in which we expect our peak, this 7 days week, we were here, we came higher, close to all-time high. The next week, we got our all-time high. So even from here, you can now start looking at how you can enter from the top and having reasonable stops. So we're not trying to talk about the entries now, but we seeing that what is happening now has happened before. We having this huge drawdown into the week, then blowing off. So even the days are similar. So if we were to follow this exactly, this is the Saturday we are now. So tomorrow Sunday might be lower. We might have a lower price as at from now. We might have a lower price from now and open higher on Monday, the 20th of October 2025, and do whatever it wants to do. This cycle, it went higher till Sunday, the close of the week. It does not mean we should close our all-time high on Sunday this time. We might close on a Wednesday, we might close on a Tuesday. But this pattern is similar to what is occurring now. We have a peak, we had a huge drawdown into the week, thinking we have peaked, then create new all-time highs, phasing people out, thinking we're about to bottom all over again and go higher. Then we get our peak and drop lower. So that is what is looking like it might play out. It might not play out, but as of now, it's looking like that. If you come here, you might see that. So you might see we have our peak, drop lower into the week here as well. The week here is from the 20th to the 26th, which will be the last day. So we drop into the week. This is also a bottom or a support zone. We blow out in this week and create an all-time high wherever it wants to within this week. Then we drop. You might also say the market cap in 2017. You might say the market cap in 2017 was lower, so we can have those 24% moves down and a higher move up. So within this week, when Bitcoin was about 15,000, we were able to move from the low to from the open to the close 26%. So you might have an argument that this had a lower market cap, so the moves are more drastic, both ups and downs. But that does not necessarily mean that's true. Even though we are higher and have a bigger market cap, in this cycle, Bitcoin can still do that. You see this weekly candle, this we have moved. Let's go to the log. Let's take this week for example. From the open to the close was about 25%. Also this week, from the open to the close was 21%. There are multiple weeks like that. This as well, from this to this 15%. And all this is while Bitcoin's market cap was in the trillions of dollars. Let's take this. This is also 16%. So it's possible to have our 20% weeks, 15% weeks. Assuming we have our low of 102,000, to get another 25% move, which we already had this cycle, will put us at 128,500, which is also possible. So it's possible for us to have these kind of candles on the week for us to peak just like that of 2017. So this is what I have for you. It's looking similar to that of 2017's peak, but we might never know unless we close the week of 13th. We close the 13th week. So once we have a close of the 13th week, we might never know unless we have a close of the 13th week. So this might close lower, any high wants to close. That will give us more information. Once you close this 13th week bar, the 20th, we'll see what will occur on the 20th. So still, as of now, it's a wait and see, but I'm still favoring the 20th to be the week in which we peak. So I can clone this and put it on the 26th, which is the last day. So this is my window. Once we close our week, our weekly candle, then from here we see what will occur. If we have broken, I will just have to wait and see, look for entries. We can't just break and enter here. So if I'm wrong, we have already broken and this is the peak. We look for our entry levels. We might come down lower, anyhow it wants to do, enter downwards. But if it's the 20th, we'll still have to wait and see. So either way, whether wrong or right, it's still a wait and see approach.